Becker, swim dodge, fires and scores! Skipping step behind the back! Pass, the extra look, and the goal! Shot on goal and good. From Ed Walsh Field on the campus of Manhasset High School, the Varsity Media Sports Network presents this showdown of longtime rivals as the Seahawks of Cold Spring Harbor come in with a 10-1 record, taking on the Indians of Manhasset at 8-2. Good evening, everyone. Dylan Butler here with the head coach of Farmingdale High School, Mike Hungerford. And Mike, these two teams certainly won. They know each other well, right? They've played in the same conference before, certainly last year in the Nassau Class C championship game. A little bit different this year. It's a non-league game because Cold Spring Harbor is a D team. Manhasset is a C team, but that doesn't take away from this one. We take a look at the tail of the tape, Mike, and not a lot different here between these two teams. You can see their rankings in our Varsity Media Sweet 16. Goals against. Biggest win. Now I'll play a game with you, Mike. So Manhasset loses to Garden City in the Woodstick, right? Cold Spring Harbor beats Garden City at Garden City. Edge, Cold Spring Harbor?
I'm not sure, Dylan. It's a great question. This is one of those games that takes on a life of its own a little bit. It's the Cold Spring Harbor Manhasset game, as you already said, and we're all here ready to watch it. And it's a big game, and kids know each other very well, and it's a rivalry every year, especially this year. They're not playing in the claim classification, so it's essentially a league game. It's a conference DD game, but it's just for bragging rights because at the end of the year, Cold Spring Harbor will be in the declassification playoffs, and Manhasset will be in the C's.
It'll be interesting to see how these two teams enter this game. And one guy who we expect should have a good game is right there, number 21. He's our Varsity Media Impact Player of the Game for Cold Spring Harbor. It is C.J. Riley going to Michigan. You see the numbers there, 19 goals, 4 assists. I'm as impressed with those numbers as I am with his 30 ground balls, which means that he's getting out, he's riding, he's winning a lot of those 50-50 battles. He is a workhorse in the midfield.
Sure, he's a do-it-all kind of midfielder, two-end kind of a guy. Offense, defense, transition. Got great size, great motor and athleticism, and certainly one of the best midfielders in Nassau County, if not Long Island.
We know also, as we'll get on in this broadcast, about the polls, and we'll speak about them obviously as this game goes on, but they'll both play a big part, Panzik and Pisano as well, dealing with this high-octane attack for Manhasset. Now the Indians, as we just said, right, coming off an overtime, a classic Woodstick Classic game. So they're going to look to bounce back off of that one. And a guy who had a great game in that one and we expect to have an impact here again is Hunter Panzik. You see there number 32 for Manhasset. You see the numbers there as well. Panzik wearing that number 32 number, right? It's a special one here at Manhasset for the late, great Johnny Driscoll, and he'll go on and play his collegiate lacrosse at Air Force, but Panzik, another guy in the midfield who's dynamic.
Yeah, very similar to C.J. Rowley, physically, body type, similar body types, larger type of guys, 6'1", 190, 95-pound type guys. Great downhill player, gets to the goal, but's got great eyes as well, and can get the assist as well as the goal.
So these two teams are right there, as we mentioned before, at the tail of the tape in the Varsity Media Sweet 16. You've got Cold Spring Harbor. Here we go, pop it up here. 4th and Manhasset 7th. Excuse me, 4th and 7th. See Chaminade right there. We just did that Chaminade St. Anthony's game. That was a one-goal game. We've seen a lot of one-goal games, Mike, down this part of the season, which we expect, right, as things get a little more important on the lacrosse field, as the weather gets a little bit warmer. So that's where these two teams are. Their last meeting, you go back to last year's Nassau Class C championship game, right? Again, they were in the same classification a year ago, and Manhasset won that one 10-8. In fact, Cold Spring Harbor's only 2 losses last year were to the Indians, right? So it's an interesting one for both of these coaches, and you take a look now at the Nassau Conference C D standings, those two teams right at the very top.
Sure. Clearly those are the two best teams in that conference. Well, without no disrespect to any other teams involved, and I think some of the records as teams start to play each other in the next few weeks, and it won't shake out in the last week and a half or 2 weeks of the season. And but clearly those are the cream of the crop when you're talking about Class CD conference in Nassau County.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups first for the visitors from Cold Spring Harbor. And really not many changes. We've seen them a few times this year, including that game against Garden City, right? You've got Giraputo, Rogers, and Calabretta. Hawkinson, who will stay on in the midfield along with Riley and Spielberger. Caden O'Connor is your long stick midi. Jesse Phelan, Pisano, and O'Grady. That's that great combination there, Phelan and Pisano. And, of course, in the cage, Spencer Will for Cold Spring Harbor. For Manhasset, you've got Perfetto, Connor, and Riley. Gerard, of course, their face-off guy, as well as Peterson, Terenzi, and Panzik. We'll see a lot of Peterson maybe as an attackman as well. Morrison, a little bit of a change there, going from close D to long stick midi. We'll talk more about that as we go along. Collins, Mulholland, Leader, and Im. We'll take a quick break for the national anthem, and we'll return here with the start of this Nassau County showdown between Cold Spring Harbor and Manhasset right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
An event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event? Look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. An event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event? Look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. An event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event? Look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Ed Walsh Field. Dylan Butler, Mike Hungerford here with you at the Varsity Media Sports Network for this rivalry game, which is kind of rivalry week for Manhasset, right? Where you go from the Woodstick to this one to Reeves Rock against Chaminade on Saturday. It's just an incredible stretch of games for Manhasset. And kind of as the case is always, but I feel like especially in these matchups, the face-off battle is going to be key. We'll take a look here now at who we'll see there. And, of course, Max Hawkinson, Cal Gerard, both of these guys going to play high-level lacrosse in college. You see Hawkinson going to Rutgers, Gerard going to Duke. It's interesting here as well because Hawkinson, you see the numbers, 54%. He was at 74% a year ago, but he was a FOGO a year ago. Now he's asked to stay on and lead that first midfield line, which, listen, you coach, you know the landscape. The wear and tear will then affect you in your numbers at the face-off X.
Sure, I think the Cold Spring Harbor coaching staff, Coach Bond, is a little bit willing to have that number be a little lower for all that Max brings to the table up and down the field. You can't expect him to go 74% and play as much as he does, especially when he sees so many great face-off guys on the other side who are really, truly specialists. And, Cal Gerard is so good, but I think if he had to play, Cal Gerard could play, but Manhasset doesn't need him to play offense. But so they're willing to give a little bit on Hawkinson to get on the other things he does. It's a little bit of a trade-off, a little bit of a coaching X and O's trade-off.
And in that Woodstick game, the one that Manhasset lost in overtime, Gerard won the face-off battle by one. It was a close one with Jack Cascadin. And, again, those are two guys who are at the very top in terms of face-off guys on the island.
Two of the Titans, you would say, Dylan, are facing off on Long Island, yes.
So Gerard gets the first one, and Manhasset is on attack. And we always love to see what the matchups are, right? Because you want to see who's on Pisano. I mean, which guy Pisano has, which guy Phelan has. Step down shot. Bounced off. Terenzi had that opportunity.
I think Coach Harbor got a little trouble trying to get organized there a little bit. Who's covering who in those matchups you talked about? But I don't think you can cover the Manhasset offense with who covers who. It's going to be a little bit more complicated than that because they will move the ball and they will swing it. You need 6 defenders and a goalie working in concert in order to slow them down.
Now, what Cold Spring Harbor does have is one of the better goalies on Long Island, right? And Spencer Will as well. So we'll see what kind of a factor Will can have in this game against this dynamic Indians offense.
Sure, Spencer Will was very good. He was one of the keys to them beating Garden City. He was excellent in that game. I've seen him have a few excellent games this year. Very, very good.
There's Riley out top. And here's another change that we thought we would see, right, Mike, when we had a conversation with Keith Cromwell where Liam Connor, usually an attackman, right, he'll see some time out of the midfield to do just this, right, getting an opportunity to run downhill a little bit. He forces one into the teeth of the D. Ground ball, though, is picked up by Peterson.
Well, you see what they're doing right now. Right now they have a lock on number 11. Matt Perfetto's getting locked by number 35, Kyle O'Grady. They're trading that matchup a little bit there, and they're trying to get better matchups on their other players. And Pisano is an excellent defender. I mean, the only player I've seen at his level is Brendan Staub at Garden City. Pisano is an excellent player headed to Yale. And, they're trying to improve their matchups with that lock.
Connor from X, they kick it back out.
It's one of those games that's you can't play offense with the faint of heart here. Dylan, you gotta get after it.
Panzik, big round ball, and those are going to be key too. Bounces one towards the cage, and it's wide. But I think especially when you consider some of those poles and their ability, right? Like when the ball's on the ground, especially on this side of the field, it's really important for Manhasset to pick them up, keep their possession, because not only can Pisano and Phelan pick it up, they can get going quickly in transition. Terenzi saved by Will.
Good take by Terenzi off the end line. They're trying to get work on that matchup. I thought maybe you could have taken an extra step there.
Maybe change angles.
Great pass by Jesse Phelan right there.
Here comes Spielberger. In our conversation with Dennis Bond, he said our formula potentially for success in this one is essentially a mirror image of what we did against Garden City, right? Which is we were patient offensively. We took care of the ball, and we made sure we had good shots, good possessions, right? And that's now the Seahawks, their first opportunity on this side of the field.
Yeah, what you're going to see is they're probably going to slow it down a little bit right now. They have 2 of the 3 midfielders caught on here. Terenzi and Peterson are playing on the defensive half with the pole. So they can probably try to work on those guys a little bit and wear on them a little bit.
Gerasi back out to Jaraputo. To the crease and a goal. Calabretta gives Cold Spring Harbor the 1-0 lead.
Great sneak from behind the goal by Calabretta, just filling that space. And a really nice pass. I thought it might have been going to get deflected a little bit, but a great pass and a nice finish on him.
See it again, Calabretta, a 4th attackman a year ago. Good look inside.
So Calabretta was on the left-hand side and circled all the way around, and the Manhasset defense kind of lost him. They were kind of ball watching a little bit there. Great first possession by Cold Spring.
Gerard gets the face-off and the harm as well. Delayed penalty. Gerard hands off. This will be against Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, you're going to have, it looks like probably a cross-check or a high hit there a little bit to Cal Gerard, but I thought there might have been a little interference involved there on the wing, but they decided to call that. Yeah, excellent officiating crew here tonight.
Terenzi spins at X, loses his man, hands off, getting top side, bouncer, wide by Riley.
Riley Dawson right there. You don't see him miss those too much. He elected with the bounce shot rather than throwing it up in the corner. He's got a 1-minute flag here, Dylan. So Manhasset with their pretty potent extra man offense gets a minute to work with here.
So 1 minute man up opportunity for Manhasset off the trip.
See right now if Coach Bond elects to play this straight up 6-on-5, or he's got a little something in his bag of tricks off the ball movement, maybe with a lock or a jump or something out of the man down unit.
Peterson gets it back. Goes goal line extended, whips it across. Great interception and takeaway by Phelan. Phelan still has it. This is what we were saying before, right? So great in the clear game as well. And now a flag against Manhasset. Likely to be a slash, Mike, against Connor.
When you get near Jesse Phelan, you don't realize you're watching the game right now. Maybe you're at home watching, having the live stream, right? He's a pretty big person, you know. And when you throw that skip there, he gets in lanes. He's got long arms, and he's got long arms with a long stick, and he covers a lot of ground. And he's got a very heavy cradle. Both him and Pisano are heavy cradlers. And you got to treat them like offensive players when they come over the midfield line. You can't treat them like typical defensemen because they're far from that.
And certainly Cold Spring Harbor, this is what they were trying to do, right? You waste the time. You kill your penalty, and now when Manhasset gains possession, Cold Spring Harbor will be man up.
Sure, you got the flag down situation right now, so you're going to work on trying to get your best look at the goal right now. You're not really a stalling situation. You know, you're flag down, so you're trying to get something really good because you know you're getting a man up out of it either way.
And Calabretta works off the Riley screen. He's got the short stick matchup. Ball on the turf, and it's not yet picked up by Manhasset. And here's Hawkinson.
Great double by Manhasset off the big little.
Hawkinson.
Behind the goal.
Here's Riley. Tries to get topside.
Good defense by Manhasset. Not let him turn the corner off that pick there. That's great defense.
Again, delayed penalty to the cage. Off the side of the netting. And now we'll have the penalty as Rogers went to the cage.
Looks like I think you're getting a slash here on Connor.
Yep, 1 minute slash. So Cold Spring Harbor's first man up opportunity. And there's Hawkinson up to Riley.
Starting in a circle here, probably going to cut something out of it. Off a little ball movement.
Giraputo. Hawkinson gets it back. No cutters yet. Just kind of around the horn, patient. Giraputo, now is a cut. Shot, a nice save by him.
Good little sneak for Max. I think he wants to have that back. Doesn't want to put it in his stick. Him sat very patient, high hands right there, and caught that ball clean.
And now the Indians get the clear, which should just about wind this penalty down. And
nice run out there, punt return clear by Lapina. I like Lapina. He gives him great minutes at that short stick D midi spot. You know, and a lot of kids don't necessarily want, they don't relish that job, but he loves doing it.
Terenzi, bounced through the crease.
Good piece right there by Spencer Will. Great dodge by Terenzi. You can see why he's one of the better midfielders in the United States coming out of high school.
Dennis Bond was super complimentary. He said we've got to try to make sure, as they will call a timeout. Said we've got to obviously look, the offense or the conversation, he said, with Manhasset, it starts, of course, with Terenzi. Said he's so unselfish, he's so talented, called him a complete midfielder. And he said, listen, Manhasset is very talented. They've got so many players could hurt you, but it starts with Terenzi. So he said, our job here today, he said, is to kind of make it like the Garden City game. We need to slow the game down, have long possessions, quality shots. He goes, especially he thought if we struggle at the X, because, again, of all the added responsibility that Hawkinson has on the attack. Defensively, he said, no easy goals, no fast break goals. and limit the unsettled goals, right? And that's kind of where Manhasset is at its best, right? When they can get out and run and push it in transition.
Sure, Manhasset's got great skills, great stick skills. The ball will always move faster than the players will if you're doing it right. And you're getting to run up and down the field transition game with them, and they can beat you up pretty bad, pretty fast, especially because they can go back in there and win the draw again with Cal Gerard. The junior do commit. So you got to be a little careful because you got to know when you're playing Manhasset, unless you have a player of Gerard's ability, and Garden City didn't, still you lost more than they won. After your goal is scored, you're going to have to probably play defense again. So it's one of those things you have to get a mindset for and a mentality for and be able to play a certain way. It's not easy, but it's certainly doable, yeah.
And Keith Cromwell said about Cold Spring Harbor and the keys for his team. He said, I like to say that we're good when we're owning the tempo on the field, and that starts, again, at the face-off X. He said, we want to be tougher this game on the wings, on the face-offs, and that was one of the reasons why we saw that change, that kind of subtle change, but we again mentioned about moving Jack Mulholland from the close to the LSM to be on that wing, because if you look back at the Woodstick, that was one of the situations where Brendan Staub, who you referred to earlier, kind of dominated, right? Winning those balls, those loose balls on the wings on those face-offs.
Sure, when two great face-off guys go at it, there's going to be some 50-50 balls, and it's not a one-man battle; it's a three-man game. The wings are important, and Staub was excellent on the wings, and that's a good coaching move by Keith Cromwell, trying to find ways to get some extra ground balls off that wing play.
Staub had 8 ground balls in that game. Probably 4 or 5 were off the wings. Here's Hawkinson. Gets it to X to Geraputo, 2-year starter. Gets inside, goes top shelf, and the finish for Geraputo.
Great finish by Geraputo right there. Great inside roll, getting under his defender, and a little physical play right there, back and forth, get underneath. Slide was just a little late, and he was able to get under it and then finish that ball, dunk that ball. And I think if you're Coach Bond, I don't know where this is all going to go for the next hour and a half, but right now it's a pretty good start.
See it again, using that size, right? You mentioned the inside roll, and then Geraputo, a bigger guy, right? Tall, rangy, so when he gets to the cage now, he could use that to his advantage against him. So 1-1 already on the game, and look at Hawkinson. That's a hard one to pick up.
I think Leadville Leader was defending right there. He got a little bit of upfield pressure on his shoulder, and he rolled off of it and was able to get through it there and on the inside roll. Nice dodge.
Will, what a look downfield. Pole goal, no, just wide by Pisano.
Pisano's finding a way to shoot that ball. If you're a betting man, he's finding a way to shoot that ball. It's great stuff.
3 goals and 4 assists on the year. I mean, that's with a long pole in his hands.
Well, that's not. There's some guys with points playing with the pole, but that's not playing long stick midi. That's playing close defense and then meanwhile, up the field.
Yeah, and Phelan, he's got 3 and 3, right? So between those two, you'd say alphas with the poles, right? That's 6 goals between them.
Yeah, I asked Coach Bond. I spoke with him a few days ago, and I said to him, you've had some great defensemen in the history of Cold Spring Harbor Lacrosse. He's been the coach here since 2000. Where would he rank, Pisano in the pantheon of defensemen? He goes, no disrespect to anybody else. He's got to be considered one of the very best ever play there. That's a major lacrosse school, a pretty big statement, and a lot of trust in Pisano's ability. Yeah,
Pisano, a Yale commit, a returning All-American, the Nassau Defender of the Year a year ago, and could put a pretty strong case at repeating a couple of those honors as well this year. Got your second midfield on now for Cold Spring Harbor. That's Ryan McGloin at X. McGloin will split time as a defensive midi and on this second midfield line.
Sure, maybe a little bit of younger guys playing the game right now. It's a midfield, a little bit of an occupied midfield, trying to burn some clock and wear the defense down a little bit and see what they can get.
And that was Bauer handing off. Bauer's a freshman.
Now you can see right now what Coach Bob is doing is they're going to sub and rotate the first midfield back on one at a time. Just got to wonder how long the officials are going to let this go on before they consider a stall and making them keep it in the box.
So you've got to say job well done by those guys, right? You just want to, as Bruno comes off and now your first midfield line comes on, and that's the job, right, so often of those second midfield guys is just keep possession, give those first guys a little bit of a rest. Little bull dodge, and now the stall warning is on. So Cold Spring Harbor has to keep it in. Low shot and a goal. Keep it in. How about put it in the net? Jake Rogers.
Jake Rogers, their lefty sniper, just carrying it across the top off the pass there, and just steps in and goes low to low and beats him for the goal. I'm sorry, Dylan. If you're Cold Spring Harbor and you're thinking to yourself, how do we win this game? How do we get there? Manhasset lost Saturday against Garden City. You get a great start. That's how you maybe win the game, right? Instead of trying to pull back in the end of the game and fight back in, you start out great. And right now, this is the makings of how you would beat a team of Manhasset's ability.
Unofficially, as we approach the final minute, as Gerard gets a whack, a second one as well, Cold Spring Harbor will ride super aggressively. But I was going to say, unofficially, we've got 3 goals on 5 shots for Cold Spring Harbor. So certainly shooting percentage-wise, they're taking those high percentage shots, which Dennis Bond said he wanted to see.
Well, I think there was one on the man up that was saved right by him and up high on the sneak. And then there was one that was missed. So they're getting them on the goal and making the goalie make saves. And that's the name of the game, right?
Final 30 seconds of this first quarter. Cold Spring Harbor, a great start in this rivalry showdown. Trying to get inside, but a flag is thrown. So it'll be the second penalty against Cold Spring Harbor. This will be a hold against Phelan.
Working against Buffetto there. He got Buffetto and kind of got the stick in the air as they were taken away from him. I think Phelan's a little not agreeing with the call, of course, but
Indians will have an extra man opportunity for 30 seconds.
So 17 left, 30 seconds on the man up for Manhasset, who are 0 for 1 with the extra player.
I think Manhasset will hold the ball here for the second quarter. It looks like the Cold Spring Harbor guys are going to try to maybe a little bit of light pressure, make you do something with the ball.
I don't know. I was about to say, I don't know if anything is light when it comes to number 19, right? Like he's, even when you're not trying to do anything, Pisano's still coming at you. Well, job well done, you'd say, right, for the Seahawks in that first quarter. Cold Spring Harbor out to a 3-0 lead on Manhasset. You're watching this Nassau County rivalry showdown right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Stand out from the competition with a Varsity Media college recruiting video. A college recruiting video from Varsity Media can help save money on college tuition and land a spot on the team. We use your best plays with our custom editing effects set to music to ensure a college coach sees your athletic skills. Contact us today to book a college recruiting video. 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Manhasset High School. Dylan Butler here with Mike Hungerford. And 2 great teams on the field. You want to join our team? You can let Varsity Media help promote your business. We've got affordable rates, customizable packages to fit any budget. We will help grow your brand through our sportscasts. Call 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Contact us today to advertise. You see on the top of your screen there are all the different companies that we thank for advertising with us throughout this season.
It's awesome, Dylan. Lacrosse in Nassau and Suffolk County, one of the best places lacrosse is played in the United States, and these businesses supporting us so we can show these broadcasts and do what we do here and showcase the kids, also people all over the country. It's awesome. Gotta love it.
So 16 seconds left on this man up, which now Manhasset will obviously attack at the start of the second quarter. They tried again to force it inside. It's knocked out. We're even now. Connor! Listen, he's a basketball guy, and he dunks it in at the crease.
Good little ball side cut by Connor, a nice pass inside to him, and a good finish. He's always the kind of guy shooting down on the net, right, with his height, and found some spacing around Spencer Roll and is able to get Manhasset on the board. I think that's kind of what they really needed, right?
You see it again. There's a look, and then, again, Connor using his size, right? Brother Rory at Colgate. Liam will join him in a couple of years.
Sure, his brother was one of the Nassau County All-Americans last year, one of 9 All-Americans from Nassau County, earning that honor, and now at Colgate.
Peterson. And one of the things we did wonder kind of coming in, right, and we talked to Keith Cromwell about it, is just sort of you come off the emotion of the wood stick and everything that brings, right, and you also realize that you've got Reeves Rock on the horizon. You can't really say that you're overlooking Cold Spring because there is that rivalry, but you wondered if there'd be a little bit of a letdown off of that game. Shot by Peterson. Goes wide.
Kind of losing a little bit of angle. Peterson, good job by Spencer Wolf fighting it off. And another chance here for Manhasset.
But we'll see if maybe that was just a one-quarter thing, right? Maybe they got that out of their system. Here's Perfetto. Turns, fires, and Will sees it the whole way. Will's third save. An aggressive ride now by Manhasset. Will gets it back. This is a part of his game that he's gotten so good at, Mike, is the clearing game. And look at that, locating Riley down the field.
Great pass. Breaking the ride there and getting the ball down to the offensive end. Good job holding the spot by Will as Perfetto turned the corner there and went high to high. And a clean catch, which is very important in goaltending, not having that rebound and letting that ball get no second chances.
Will has really grown as a goalie. Remember back in his freshman year, that was a team that lost to Sherwin-Wading River in the Long Island Championship game, and he's just gotten better and better every year. And his growth from his junior year now to this year, Spencer Will, that's one of the biggest things that Bond mentioned at the start of this season.
Sure, you need goaltending, to get far in the game these days and make it deep into the playoffs or in the state playoffs. You need some quality goaltending.
Riley off the mark.
Good defense by Mulholland right there, staying on his hands.
And he's that switch there too, right, as part of that where he's now playing more close D.
Earlier in the year, I was on the broadcast, Dylan, when we did the Cold Spring Manhasset game, and I really liked Spielberger. He was a fast, downhill guy, really good athlete. Gets the short stick because Riley's getting the pole.
Oh, great job from behind. The strip by Mulholland.
Riley had a step on him and just started that wind up, and I was able to catch him with it. I think next time if he brings his stick with him and shoots it maybe out of his mask, it might get it on the goal.
And again, the ride. Look at Jaraputo force it free. Terenzi picks it up, throws it across the field for Connor. They've got to get it in. Connor races in.
That might have been 9.5 right there, the 10 count,
Jaraputo nearly got that turnover. Here's Peterson from up top. Hands off, quick ball movement. Inside roll, off the bar! And a crease violation as well, so it'll be Cold Spring Harbor ball. Riley with that shot.
Cold Spring Harbor had the right up, and the whistle took a little longer to start. Not that they're supposed to start any quicker than it did, but they had the right up, and now you're in the riding situation. Looks like right.
Will crosses midfield. Will hands off, finds a guy, and they stay in. So, again, job well done by Spencer Will.
A little bit of a sort of a match feet ride there where you're just trying to stay same side of the stripe as your player you matched up with, and the goalie was free to go there. Great play by Will.
There's McGloin again. The sophomore hurt his wrist during the summer. Missed the first few games. That Syosset game you referenced, he was hurt for that one. I think he was even hurt for the Garden City game, but big to have him back for the Seahawks now. Rogers, what a game he had against Garden City. Was the RP3 player of the game, presented by Whitmore Insurance in that one. Here is Rogers. Hockey guy, lefty, tough kid. That Jimmy played at Villanova. Rogers goes low! His second of the game.
That's the scouting report on Rogers right there. He's going to turn that corner lefty, drive. You got to get top side of him, and he's going to use the defender as a screen and shoot it around him, and that's a great, great goal.
See Rogers again, using that strength, right? And then there's that low finish.
Yep, the extra check is the tough one for the defender right there, because as you're checking, you're not getting top side of him enough. He's getting his hands free. Big, strong kid. Puts the ball in the right spot using a little screen, and great play.
Rogers, 19 goals on the year, pushed forward, ground ball off the wings, and it goes to Hawkinson. His second face-off win.
Great job scrapping that one out by the Cold Spring Harbor guys and getting the possession.
And I think that's one of the things you do get, right, with Hawkinson is just that, you know, we've referenced him before, right, with Licciardi, and he's not quite Licciardi, but he has a lot of those same characteristics, a smaller guy, a scrappy guy. He'll battle for all those 50-50 balls.
I'm a little biased. I've said this before on broadcast, but as a high school coach, you know, Matt Licciardi is an all-timer. I'll tell you that right now. You don't get guys who will play like he does, but you don't get people who are wired like him very much either. He's wired a different kind of guy, and it's awesome.
Tomahawk chop. How about that finish by Spielberger? You were just shouting him out.
Spielberger from the high wing, getting that right-handed, getting underneath with the stick in his right hand, shooting that twister, that overhand twister. Great goal.
Spielberger's 11th of the year. Here you see it again. Has a short stick matchup, exploits it. And you like that too, right? Just going down, making it difficult. Timeout for Manhasset. What a start for Bond and his guys. They've got a 5-1 lead.
Little Estage there, right? Going out and going back in, going to your left hand and leaning in and getting under to your right hand and shooting that twister. Great goal.
We referenced that win for Cold Spring Harbor at Garden City. Certainly, you'd say, right, signature win of the season to this point. We were on that game, the first game of the year, against a Syosset team that's still kind of trying to figure things out. We'll see them against the Dalers on Friday. But they're getting better as they go along. They had a 1-goal win against a quality Wantagh team. And then that 9-7 win against Garden City. They followed up with their only loss of the year at Rye, and they beat Yorktown 6-3. And wins over Floral Park, Seaford, and North Shore have followed. And in that huddle you see there, Manhasset, they are still having a great season, obviously, but it's tough when you come off a Woodstick loss. And Keith Cromwell was saying he had guys coming in after that game apologizing for losing the game, right? He's like, you don't have to apologize. He was apologizing to them. It was obviously really, really emotional. And again, it's just a short stretch from Saturday night to now here on Wednesday night.
I think, not taking anything, you see Coach Bond there, guiding the troops there. I spent some time coaching with him, and he has a famous line. He likes to say to the kids that, sports are funny. Like, there's no guarantees. You're going to go compete, and someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. And unless it's the end of the year and it's the last game of the playoffs or a championship game, you're going to do it again, And you just got to keep getting forward and trying to get better.
Back-to-back for Hawkinson. Steps in. It'll be interesting to see as Hawkinson comes out now how they manage his minutes, right? Because, again, Gerard's a Fogo. He's coming right off, and Hawkinson is on that first midfield line. So now he comes off, and you see coming in there is Gerasi.
Probably going to mix and match a little bit with this first midfield group in here now, right? It looks like you have your Spielberger in and Riley in and now Gerasi. So it's a little mix and match.
Yeah, Gerasi on that second midfield line, a soccer guy, a wrestler.
Kind of an important possession right here, I think, kind of for both teams, in the fact that if you're Cold Spring Harbor and you don't have a bad turnover here, even if you don't score, you don't have to score, but you just play some good offense maybe and eat a little bit more time, it's been pretty good.
Here comes Riley.
It keeps the momentum going. if you're Manhasset, you kind of need to get a stop here, and maybe build some momentum off a defensive play or a stop or a save or a ground ball.
And I think if you can get that and then get in transition and score something there, that would be huge for the Indians.
Hey, Spielberg just looks like he's running around all day. Looks so easy.
And he has come into his own this year.
That was tough there.
Riley. And you can see, too, affecting that shot was Collins.
Yeah, Riley hasn't really got himself freed up yet. He's had to take a couple of shots. We got guys on his hands. We'll see if the coaching staff maybe gets a pick for him or something where maybe he can get off of it and get his hands feel a little easier. He's had some good defense so far.
Spielberger on Peterson. And you know what? At the very least, you've got Peterson out there having to play both sides of the ball, and now maybe you tire him out a little bit if you're Spielberger.
Terenzi also, and you can see that the number 7's inside, just kind of running circles, making Terenzi move, and it's a very good coaching move, just occupying those guys and wearing them out a little bit.
And that's Gerarsi. We mentioned him before, in for Hawkinson, lowering the shoulder. Giraputo, another feed at the cage, and I thought Calabretta was going to line one up there, but
tell you what, that's a great catch by Calabretta, but an even better decision not to shoot it because he didn't have his hands really free. Many kids would have taken that ball and just shot it.
Gerarsi lost it, and here is that opportunity that we said Manhasset will have. Unsettled. Terenzi. Hands off. Low to high. Off. Will's stick and a goal. Perfetto. What a big goal for the Indians.
That's exactly what Manhasset needed right there. We said Coach McHarmon needed to just manage the clock a little bit and not have a bad turnover. And that one thing was a bad one, but it was one of those ones that Manhasset was able to get numbers on the offensive end and get a shot and a goal from Perfetto.
Yeah, a lot of things that you needed if you were Manhasset happened there, right? You got the takeaway, you got the ground ball, and then you got Terenzi in the open field where he can just kind of turn his guy, get it to Perfetto, who puts it off of Will's stick for his 13th goal of the year. And now Gerard gets a face-off win, his 5th of 8.
Great job off the whistle for Gerard. He really had the whistle timed up just right.
And now here's Terenzi. Pumps the brakes. And now Manhasset has a chance, right, to wrestle momentum back. Still just a 3-goal game.
And just under 3 minutes to go before halftime here, for Manhasset, and get a good possession here and get your potent offense kind of going. And offense is interesting there when it comes and goes sometimes. And when it comes, it's great. And when it's going, it's not so great.
Panzik loses it. And the ground ball picked up by Riley. What a game he had in the wood stick as well. Dawson Riley.
I think if Manhasset had won the game, Dawson Riley probably would have been the MVP, right?
I think so. Swim. And whistles blow. It'll be a timeout for Manhasset.
I think you see there, Coach Cromwell is trying to get his guys organized because right now, there's no 2-point goal in high school. Of course, right? There's no 3-point goal. There's no tying goal right now. You're down 5-2. I think some of the guys are trying to maybe do a little bit too much offensively, right? And the ball's kind of velcroing in their stick a little bit. And he wants to say, hey, everybody take a deep breath, spin the ball, get it moving, and take 6 guys to score a goal sometimes. So not always just a one-man thing, it's a one-man game, especially against Coach McHarmon, who is very good defensively.
Big one coming up for Manhasset, as we mentioned. We'll be on the air for that one. Always a special occasion. Great that it's back after a couple of years. It'll be Reeves Rock coming up Saturday night to honor the life and legacy of Sergeant James Regan, a Manhasset resident, went on to play at Chaminade and Duke, and unfortunately died in the line of combat and with the Army Rangers in 2007. 13th Reeves Rock coming up, and it's so special, obviously, to Chaminade. We spoke with Coach Moran about that, and Cromwell said it's one of the great things about being the head coach of Manhasset is you've got a game like this. You've got the wood stick, but especially this one, he said, one of his pleasures of being the coach is to get to know the Regan family through this game. So that should be a great one right here in the Varsity Media Sports Network, 7 o'clock Saturday night.
Sure, Dylan. It's one of those things where, with loss and tragedy, such a great thing comes out of it because people care and they want to put their life's work into it. it's a great event and one of those special things. And I know whenever I'm available to come, I love to come and just forget the lacrosse part of it, just what it all means in the bigger picture. It's tremendous.
And Jimmy's dad has done such an incredible job with the Lead the Way Foundation as well. And another special night here at Manhasset. So off the timeout, the Indians. It's Peterson handing off.
So they got the lock on Terenzi with a short stick, and they're trying to play they're trying to play the game here with subbing and not subbing. And look like Cardullo is gonna come in and make some subbing game here, but they decide not to. It's gonna play through at 5-on-5.
Here's Perfetto. Connor's waiting to set the screen at X. Gets it there. Perfetto draws a slide, forces it across. Riley picks it up off the carpet. Quick movement. Perfetto. A save by Will.
One thing about playing 5-on-5 is you're gonna have more room. To play offense, there's more space. Now Terenzi got the ball off the restart. They'll probably be quick to go to this, and Terenzi will become a feeder.
Terenzi spins. Peterson backs up.
That was a good switch there.
Peterson splits defenders. To Riley. Terenzi up top. Little stutter step, trying to shake his man now. Directing traffic with a minute remaining in the first half. Terenzi, get out of my way. Terenzi, bouncer, wide.
Great little swim move by Terenzi there, the bouncer wide, and they'll get the lock back on the ball in the bounds. Looks like he's coming to pick for the ball now. So when you get locked, there's a few things, Dylan, you can do offensively. You can play 5-on-5. You can pick for the ball. You can put them inside and see if they'll come off of them.
Bauer does a good job staying, but Terenzi does get the ball.
Great job by Bauer so far. Just hanging in with him.
How'd you like that job? Bauer's a freshman. Terenzi, the number 3 recruit in the country. Bouncer wide by Connor.
Great job there by, I think that was Jesse Phelan approaching the shooter right there, getting to the top side of him and getting on stick side and affecting the shot on the goal. And Coach Bond taking a timeout here to, I think, get organized defensively.
So inside the final 30 seconds of a first half that has gone the way of the Seahawks. And you've got to go back a couple of years for their last victory in this annual game, which happened twice a year ago, of course, as they met in the Nassau C Championship game. Manhasset's won the last 3. The last win for Cold Spring Harbor, you go back to March 24th, 2018, the opener of the 2018 season. A 5-4 win by Cold Spring Harbor. Kevin Winkoff, 3 goals. Brady Stroud, 3 assists. Teddy Bentley and Richie Striano, a goal apiece. Danny Striano, 2 assists as well. Aiden Mulholland had a goal and an assist. And Michael Farrell, we talked all about him, of course, at the Woodstick, and remembering him and his brother and Ryan Keese as well, who tragically died in that car accident. He had a goal in that one, and that was Cold Spring Harbor's last win back in 2018.
A lot of good names you mentioned.
Yeah.
Kevin Winkoff, great career at Binghamton. And Striano at Bucknell. Aiden Mulholland, the freshman, played a tremendous amount this year at Michigan. So a lot of great names there. And, of course, to the Farrell family, once again, our condolences. And once again, a family trying to make something really, really, really positive and effective out and affect people's lives in a positive way from something that was really full of tragedy.
And that's what you love, too, about this community here at Manhasset, right, where they rally around those families. And we saw the jerseys, right, and we were presented with them. Sean Haggerty came in. We had that great halftime spot with him. And it is one of the things that's great, I think, about lacrosse and as well about this Manhasset community. Off the timeout, here's Terenzi trying to get free. Throws it in front. That's loose. It's a big ground ball here. Picked up by Riley. He's got to go. Riley. Will with the big save. Quick clearance for Cold Spring Harbor. And Calabretta goes behind the back.
Great ending to the half right there. You had Terenzi going against Pisano, and Pisano's a tough man, a tough guy to go against. I don't care how good you are offensively. He's gonna match up, and he's gonna cause all kinds of problems.
And that guy right there had himself a first half, 5 saves for Spencer Will, and a big one there late as well to make sure Cold Spring Harbor brings a 5-2 lead into the second half. We'll take a quick break here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Good to see Jack Cascadden and the boys from Garden City in here. They made sure they wore all their gear as well, right, as you walk through the Manhasset stands.
Hard to miss Jack
right?
Cascadden in a crowd at 225 pounds
Yeah,
and whatever you have for
6'3".
dinner, and whatever you have for dinner.
Yeah, 100%. We'll take a quick break. It's Cold Spring Harbor with a 5-2 halftime lead right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, SPORTSCAST,
Under, and what a look.
photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. Stand out from the competition with a Varsity Media college recruiting video. A college recruiting video from Varsity Media can help save money on college tuition and land a spot on the team. We use your best plays with our custom editing effects set to music to ensure a college coach sees your athletic skills. Contact us today to book a college recruiting video. 516-403-2050 or email Jeff at varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, SPORTSCAST,
Under, and what a look.
photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. Stand out from the competition with a Varsity Media college recruiting video. A college recruiting video from Varsity Media can help save money on college tuition and land a spot on the team. We use your best plays with our custom editing effects set to music to ensure a college coach sees your athletic skills. Contact us today to book a college recruiting video. 516-403-2050 or email Jeff at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Ed Walsh Field on the campus of Manhasset High School. Dylan Butler here with Mike Hungerford. It's halftime. And Cold Spring Harbor in this rivalry game leads the host Indians 5-2. It was a great start for Cold Spring Harbor, and listen, it's about as good a start as you could expect, right? They jump out to a 2-0 lead, and then little giddy up in Jake Rogers' step, and he goes low to make it 3-0 for the visiting Seahawks. Rogers had 2 in that first half, 19 now on the season. But we knew Manhasset would have a fight back, and they go to one of their taller players, right? Their guy at the crease, Liam Connor. And right there, the look, the dunk in front, that made it 3-1. So you figure maybe some momentum going for Manhasset, but Cold Spring Harbor wrestled it right back. Not a perfect first half, I think, by their standards, but a very good one as well. As here comes Spielberger, getting to his left, and there's that overhand shot by Ryan Spielberger, the senior. That made it 5-1 for Cold Spring Harbor, and we said at the time it was an important possession, right, because it could have gone either way, and this is a big goal for Manhasset. We'll see how big it is as we get into the second half, but you get in transition. Terenzi can turn Riley in and out, and then a good look to Perfetto, who beats Will to make it 5-2.
I think Will thought he might have had that one. He looked at his stick and it hit off his stick and went in, but Will heat from Terenzi.
First half stats for you. You see Manhasset with a 15-9 edge in shots. Great game in the cage thus far by Spencer Will. 5 saves. In the face-off battle, that's a number I think if you're Bond you like, right? Because you were anticipating, because of how much Hawkinson stays on, that maybe Gerard gets into a rhythm and he starts winning a bunch, but only a 2 face-off difference between those two guys, and obviously neither team able to capitalize on the man up.
That's a win for Cold Spring Harbor. Being just under half is really a win, because what Hawkinson has to do up and down the field, offense, defense, things like that, and then you have to deal with the guy who's facing off and getting off all the time, in Gerard. So that's a good win for them. I think Coach Bond, if he was going to find a way to get a victory in it, that would be part of it.
We'll take a look at see the upcoming schedule. We've got Hills and Huntington, as well as the Dalers, right? I guess you will not be on the call for that one against Syosset. I will, though, and then again, it's Reeves Rock Saturday night at 7 as Chaminade, coming off that 1-goal loss to St. Anthony's, taking on Manhasset, the 13th Reeves Rock.
Got some good broadcasts right there coming up. Hopefully we can live up to the lineup.
We're hoping so.
Well, basketball guy in the house, huh?
Yeah, listen, it's the big game, right? So it's Cold Spring Harbor and Manhasset, and all the stars come out on a Wednesday night.
Brings them all out. There we go. From MSG Network to Varsity Media to the stands, and lifetime Cold Spring Harbor resident right there.
We'll take a quick break. We'll get the start of the second half when we return. Cold Spring Harbor with a 5-2 lead. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
The best action shots and the best angles look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Manhasset. Dylan Butler, Mike Hungerford here as the second half about to start. We just saw Wally Zerbiak in the stands. Mike, do you think Cascadden shouted him out like he did us at halftime?
I don't think so, Dylan. I think he really scouted you out more than me. You've become a lacrosse broadcasting celebrity here on Long Island, which is awesome. I find that to be very refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, I might not know the sport
that's
like others.
That's not true. That's not true. But Dylan, right here, we come out at halftime. Not every minute of every game is equal. There's 24 minutes left here. I think if you're Manhasset, you need a good first minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes right now to settle yourself in, try to get back in the game a little bit. And not all plays and everything's created equal. And this is pretty important right here.
And Hawkinson thought he was getting Gerard pushed forward, but he'll get called for the infraction. Big face-off and a big possession right off the bat, right, for Manhasset. You want to establish something here right at the beginning of this second half.
One of the points of emphasis this year in high school lacrosse, the Federation rules, was having to play the ball on the face-off, and it looks like Hawkinson maybe didn't play the ball there. He got on his hands for the hold.
Panzik. Up top to Peterson. Tries to get top side. Cuts it back to his right. Peterson hands off. Goal line extended to Riley. Riley. Tough sledding as Phelan was on him. Hands off to number 32. Panzik lowers his shoulder. Low to high attempt. Took a deflection, it looked like, off of Phelan's stick.
There's Phelan's reach again. Dylan, offensive lacrosse in the box is trying to acquire land, right? Trying to acquire space to dodge and create space. There's a goal.
There's some space created and a goal for Manhasset.
Perfetto, second one. Just driving up the field and shooting that ball over the shoulder. Very difficult, one of the hardest saves for a goalie to make is that upfield runner over the shoulder. Hard to find and hard to see.
See it again for the Cornell commit. Oh, he just stings it, doesn't he?
Works off that pick there. It looks like by Connor.
Doesn't need a lot to get those hands free, does Matty Perfetto.
I had said before the Colts Club defenders were doing a good job of taking away some of the space that Manhasset likes to operate with and reducing the green grass and the green turf they like to run to. But Perfetto found some space right there for the finish.
Brother Lewis up at BU.
BU having a great year. One of the favorites in the Patriot League tournament.
Sister Lauren on the girls team here at Manhasset as well. Great lacrosse family, the Perfettos.
And Dad was a baseball guy. Grew up in the city, so
go figure.
Go figure, right? That's what makes him one of the best dads of all, lacrosse dads of all time. It's a man I happen to know very well, and great guy.
So here we go. Connor
with that short stick.
Yeah, to his left. Pass a little bit off. Good ground ball picked up by Pens. It gets it back to Connor. Fires it down low. What a look! And Riley the finish at the crease. And now the Indians are starting to cook.
I said, Dylan, one of the parts of the game, not every minute is created equal in a game. And the first couple of minutes were kind of important and Manhasset to get a good start. And they've done that right here. Gotten a really good start to get back in the game.
2 goals inside the first 2 minutes, and Connor whips it down low. Great catch and finish as well by Riley, the Bryant commit. His 30th goal of the year, a throwback player, Dawson Riley. Keeping that family theme, Sister Madison plays down at Florida. Big round ball, and Riley gets it for Cold Spring Harbor. They look to push, and the low finish. What a response by Cold Spring Harbor.
Tic-tac-toe fast break right there. Great job by Cold Spring Harbor. The whole play's made off the faceoff, though. Scrapping out that ball. Rogers with the finish.
Yeah, we'll take a look again and see Riley gets it, right? Quick look, the extra pass by Jaraputo, and there's the finish by Rogers.
Great job by Jaraputo looking through the defense, find that skip lane, and a great finish by Rogers.
His third. Gerard gets it to himself and gets the face-off win. You get the sense here, Mike, we're just heating up here in the second half, man. This is likely to be a really good final 24 minutes.
One of them took Manhasset a little time with it. Maybe they needed halftime just to get themselves back to.
Oh, come on. How many fakes? Will, though, with the denial on Terenzi. That could be the save of the game.
Sure could.
Terenzi threw about every fake he could. Will wasn't buying it.
Great clear by Pisano. I mean, how many guys are checking his stick? That's awesome.
There's Spielberger. Yeah, Pisano, man. Pisano, Phelan, special guys. You would love to have one, but they've got two at Cold Spring Harbor.
Sure, and they're a little different in their own way in how they play the ball and how they do things, but with the ball in their stick, they need to be treated like offensive players for sure.
And as we've seen, as we've seen in the first half, Gerasi coming in now to occupy some space here and allow Hawkinson to get a breather. Kicked it up top. Riley will dodge from there. Gets ready to shoot. Good job defensively on him as Mulholland made it difficult.
Mulholland's put it in his hands. That was his best dodge of the game so far for Riley, though. He got downhill. Didn't really try to run around him too much and kind of, leaned on him a little bit and still got a little bit on his hands, but that was a good-looking dodge right there.
There's that short stick matchup you mentioned, right? Spielberger's getting it with Peterson on him.
Looks like we're just trying to get organized here a little bit, but we're playing a little slow off it,
Well, I think you're waiting. Yep. Yeah, now you're going to have the change, right? So Hawkinson will come back in as they make that change.
Yep, use about a minute to give him a little breather. And the Riley shot, even though it's wide and goes out of bounds, kind of keeps the referees off you contemplating installing. Unlike the NCAA rules, high school rules, there's no shot clock. So I'll stay off that soapbox still for the broadcast, but
I'll be on there with you, man.
But it's a little tough.
It's time.
And it puts a lot of emphasis on the referees to make decisions as to what the teams are doing offensively,
Riley, slide comes on him. Good recognition by Riley. Oh, what a look inside. Spielberger denied by him.
Great. You can see that Manhasset's trying to speed the game up a little bit, sliding and doubling and chasing a little bit. And a great look by Riley. And Spielberger just couldn't finish. It could be the same of the game for him right there, coming back the other way.
His best so far, and he was pretty good, especially early on against Garden City when the Trojans were really peppering him with shots.
He had a great first quarter against Garden City. I think in this matchup, it's hard to be really sharp if you're him, because what people don't realize is Cold Spring Harbor guys are being pretty judicious about their shooting, and you're not going to face a lot of volume of shots and try to get in a rhythm. You're going to have to make big saves.
Terenzi. The slide comes, gets it to X. Connor might be setting up the inside roll. Pops it outside instead. Shot blocked in front. Phelan got it, and he gets the ground ball as well.
I like the matchup of trying to work the Connor matchup because he's an attackman / midfielder getting a short stick. So they're trying to take advantage of that matchup. But, in offensive lacrosse, one of the things is maybe you want to take the best shot, not the first shot sometimes, and it can be difficult sometimes.
I think now some mixing and matching, right, for Cold Spring Harbor. Hawkinson comes out, Riley out of the box now.
I think Manhasset's pressing out a little bit, trying to, you have Pete out to the ball a little bit, trying to play the ball a little harder and create, a turnover. And
there's a freshman Bauer.
Bauer doing double duty, locking. First half he's locking Terenzi, and now he's playing a little bit of offense.
Football guy as well, athletic, coachable. Bond says does not play like a freshman, which is why he's getting minutes right under the lights at Manhasset. Here he is up top. He's going to have a go. The save.
Great take. Great skip and a great take right there. Once again, though, see that'll keep the stall off you a little bit. You can mess around with the ball a little bit in terms of manipulating it and not being so quick to go to the goal right now.
And now it's Riley. Oh, Riley fights his way through. He is jacked, man. He just fought right through a couple of poles.
He was going downhill hard, the broken stick there.
That's some lumber. Riley, an honorable mention All-County a year ago. Big, athletic, long. Oh, Jaraputo stings it top shelf.
Jaraputo's one of those guys that when he looks at the goal and sees something that he likes, he's going to just shoot it, and that's a compliment. You know, he's going to see that. And when he caught that ball on that righty wing right there, I've seen him shoot that ball in the warm-ups tonight. I was watching a little bit, and he just has a knack from that spot to hammer that ball. Great goal.
Jaraputo, 2 and 2 on the day. What a look, huh?
They kind of hedged off of it as the dodge started from the end line. They kind of hedged off of him off the adjacent. I'm not sure if they were an adjacent slide there or they were and they had two players heading to the shooter as he was winding up, but they hedged off of him and that got his hands free.
7-4 the lead for Cold Spring Harbor here at Manhasset. The Indians have won the last 3 of this rivalry matchup. Off the bar and out for Riley.
One of those nights so far from Manhasset, that one doesn't go in.
He thought the way the ball bounced that perhaps it bounced behind the goal line. Did not, though. That shot now off the bar as well. That by Terenzi. Well, what they say as some physicality, Peterson, and now unsettled. Extra pass. Riley's not missing this time. And it starts with Peterson out at midfield.
That was a good contact right there. A lot of games I've seen this year that was called a foul, but that's a good hit.
Yeah, shoulder
Quick
to shoulder.
Turnover.
Right there is where it starts. Peterson, the look.
Tic-tac-toe on their end right there. Riley with the finish, and
Panzik gets the assist.
failed clear. Generally results in a goal for the other team, and there's that statistic coming to life again. And that was a big goal from Manhasset.
Wings come in. Terenzi comes away with it.
Great ground ball by Terenzi. I think the Cold Spring Harbor faithful were looking for a little bit of him sitting on the ball, laying on top of the ball, Gerard, but I don't think that was intentional. It was just him being part of the play and the ball being by his body.
Peterson spins around the cage. Peterson, shot was a little bit off, and a flag will be thrown as Riley's thrown around. And the Indians will go man up for the 3rd time today. It'll be a 30-second push.
Tough call right there on Pisano. I'm not, referees are much closer to me, but I'm not sure I like that one being called either way for either team. But they're much closer to me, and they see it right there, and there was definitely a lot of contact.
So big man up now for Manhasset, down by 2 inside 3 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. A lot of options here, Mike, on this vaunted Manhasset attack. Perfetto from X. Up top to Panzik. Quick ball movement. Peterson.
Working for that best look right there.
And there it is. Perfetto.
His 3rd.
The man up goal as well. And it's a 1-goal game.
Yep. Good man-up offense right there. Get the ball moving. Maybe don't take the first shot, take the best shot. Running a little wheel action right there. Perfetto just beats the rotation.
So Perfetto, 3rd goal of the game, 15 on the season. Gerard gets the win. Stripped from behind, though. And here comes Cold Spring Harbor. Shot wide by Phelan.
Great job by Phelan coming down. Getting the shot, getting possession. You can feel the energy of Manhasset changing, though. You know, they're ramping it up a little bit, and the defensive pressure is increasing, and crowds into it. Players are into it. They're playing the ball much further from the goal.
And you wonder if this is now going to, and maybe you've given him enough of a breather, but maybe now this guy's got to stay on a little bit longer right now as this game goes on, as it's closer. 1-goal game as Hawkinson has it.
Sure, probably if you're Cold Spring Harbor, you want to, eat a little bit of time here if you can, slow it down a little bit, rest a little bit if you can.
He draws the shorty in Peterson.
Peterson's given him great legs tonight. He's been on the defensive half quite a bit.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
done quite a bit of dodging. He's played, I would say, an easy 65-70% of the game.
Yeah, he's got his steps in tonight. Riley up top. And there's the switch as Gerasi comes back in for Hawkinson.
You got to be a little judicious with Hawkinson and what you wanted to have him do and when, and then you give him a little bit of rest right now. Just kind of play without him.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike, I think Cold Spring hopes maybe it's for this entire end, right, of this third quarter. Maybe you take it down as a stall warning is on now. Spielberger, they've got to keep it in. He loses it. Ground ball picked up by the Indians, and now they're off and running. Lapina. He is so good in that position, the D midi going to BU.
Very good, Lapina. Great job at the D midi spot. Just relishing that role.
Riley. Indians a chance here in the closing seconds of the third to tie this game up. Perfetto. Save.
Still a shot.
Little push. Will go Cold Spring Harbor's way as McGloin won that race. Will gets it down the field quickly. Can Cold Spring Harbor get something off here? Gerasi switches hands, gets it to Hawkinson, backs it up.
10 seconds here.
Hawkinson gets topside. Hawkinson fires over the cage. Good job defending him there by Lapina.
Maybe you want to throw it in front, see if somebody grabs something here.
Yeah, a little maybe Jaraputo. Instead it went all the way out. No shot for either team. 3 quarters in the books in Cold Spring Harbor. They led it 5-1 at one point. It is a 1-goal game heading into the final 12 minutes of regulation. Don't go anywhere. We'll have it all for you right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
7 o'clock here at Ed Walsh Field.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts,
Under, and what a look.
photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts,
Under, and what a look.
photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Manhasset High School. Dylan Butler, Mike Hungerford here. This is a great sportscast, and if you want to bring your game to life, Varsity Media Sportscasts are your answer. We've got announcers, multiple cameras, instant replays, and graphics. Great for your rivalry game, senior day, just general promotion of your team. Contact us to book Sportscast 516-403-2050 or visit varsitymedia.net. Final 12 minutes of regulation time. And Mike, surprise, surprise, we've got another 1-goal game. I feel like these last 2 weeks, every sportscast that we've had, so many games throughout Long Island, it's been just this, a 1-goal game. We had Syosset and Port Washington a week ago. We had Massapequa and Port Washington. That was an overtime game. Your game against Massapequa was a 1-goal game. St. Anthony's and Chaminade last night, a 1-goal game, and such also was the case of the Woodstick on Saturday night. And the ball got stuck in Gerard's stick.
Gerard kind of turned it on in the third quarter there. We kind of had some wins. And
and a shot there for Lapina on Hawkinson. So flag is down.
It's actually, you think about it, you look at it right there, like, that's the call you really get. It's actually a great call because he is pushing him in the back, and a lot of times if you don't fall, you don't get the flag, right? And Hawkinson's a really good athlete. He's not going to fall too easily, but it's still a push. So you got a flag down for Coach Penalby here. Hawkinson will come out of the game. And
that's wise, right? As you are killing clock and maybe forcing Manhasset out with this delayed penalty. As there's Calabretta. He's got a goal on the night. Push it back out. And this is what Dennis Bond said he wanted. Patient possessions, good quality possessions, not unlike what they did in that win at Garden City. The signature win to this point for Cold Spring Harbor, and a win that looks even better now that Garden City won the Woodstick on Saturday night. Spielberger fires high, and now we'll have that penalty. It'll be a cross check for 1 minute. Did you think like that was a push from behind?
I guess the feeling was he extended his hands and his hands all the way out and got him with the big part of his stick, hands far apart. And so now they have a minute to work with here. They've used almost a minute and a half to get to this stage, and now they have a minute of man-up time.
Second man-up opportunity for Cold Spring Harbor. 0 for 1 to this point. Spielberger. And there's Calabretta. The attack line has really led the way here tonight for the Seahawks. 2 goals by Jaraputo, 3 by Rogers, and 1 by Calabretta.
Cold Spring Harbor guys need to be a little careful. The Manhasset guys have a lot of length, and they're reaching into those lanes, knocking down passes. And
skip pass. Shot. Fired wide. Jaraputo really stung that one.
That was a great skip. Defensively, you try not to let that get through, right? And try to have sticks and lanes right there, but a great skip through.
Another chance now for Cold Spring Harbor. They work it far side. We're even. Here's Riley. So just that one shot, really in the last,
had a bit
two,
of
2 minutes, right? 2 minutes plus.
Yeah, they had one shot on the man up, but they missed off the skip, and they had a little 2-on-1 with Rogers. They just couldn't get it to him there, and that was kind of a nice little, little situation. They couldn't hook it up.
Hawkinson on Flood, rounds the cage, fires low. Flood, a junior, part of that defensive midi unit, right? Maybe giving Lapina a little bit of a spell now.
Bringing Hawkinson out of the game again to give him a little bit of a rest here.
How about Jake Rogers, by the way? Again, there's a lot of time left in this one. It's only a 1-goal game. But in the biggest games of the year for the Seahawks, he has a massive game against Garden City, and he's got 3 in this one as well.
Sure, they've initiated a bunch of their dodges from this mid-wing area over here.
There's Riley trying to beat his man, and again, great job by Mulholland. And that's that matchup that we expected to see, and that's why Mulholland switched positionally to get back to deal with Riley throughout this game.
Good foot speed by Mulholland, good closing speed to stay on his hands, and he can't get away from him, which is pretty good defense right there. Sticky.
Calabretta back out. Riley, can he get his hands free this time? Fired it wide.
That was a good job by Riley right there, trying to create contact against the defender. Sometimes the offensive guys get caught up in trying to run around people, and by running around them, you lose angle fast, and you allow the defender to get back to your hand. That time he initiated some good contact and was able to get that shot off just at a very low angle.
Ooh, another push. Peterson forced it out.
Well, good defense right there by Peterson. I guess some of the Coach Number fans kind of thought that might have been a push call as well, but you're not going to get all of them.
Peterson has, we said it before, he has done the work, man. He's got his hard hat on today, both sides of the field. And there he is again. I think you don't worry about gas in his tank, right? He's one of those electric cars. he just keeps going, man. Panzik back up top to Terenzi. They'll play catch. Look in front. And Manhasset guys, a couple guys went down. Perfetto went down at the crease. Riley was there for the backup.
Perfetto snuck the corner there, and they brought the contact to him and knocked him down, but the ball was, I guess, either deflected or considered a shot.
Oh, and a pass over Terenzi's head by Cargiulo.
I think Terenzi lost it a little bit in the lights a little bit. It got just up in that right spot by the stanchion, and you just couldn't see it. I think Terenzi could have made the play. He just lost it in that stanchion.
Let's see if Cold Spring Harbor can capitalize on that unforced turnover. Hawkinson. And these two teams, ironically too, Mike, are teams that are used to playing right at night. Manhasset has so many games under the lights here at Ed Walsh Field, and same is true for Cold Spring Harbor as well. It's a rarity for some teams on the island just because of their field situations, right? Like you guys at Farmingdale don't play, right? A lot of night games. You have the lights, obviously, but you don't play a lot of night games.
I think some guys just don't like early in the season playing at night when it could be you know, 37 degrees. We played at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was 27 degrees, so what am I talking about? But I think guys just, you know, as they get towards the end of the year, they'll play a little bit more at night.
Well, you guys are creatures of habit, too, so it's Riley.
So Riley changed it up. He was pretty much going all right-handed, right? Down the alley, across the top, and sweeping and kind of running at an angle and not making contact. And that time he kind of, I thought, went left and then rolled it back and shot out of the roll, which was a great changeup and put that ball low and away. Great changeup by Riley right there.
Yeah, we'll show it to you again.
Yep. See a little step off, right? As opposed to trying to make contact, kind of steps away a little bit.
Clean win for Girard. Manhasset needs a response. They're down 2 again. They go to the crease. Loose ball again. Riley fighting for it. Cromwell is practically out by the goal line. He was trying to call timeout for the longest. Doesn't get the call, and the Seahawks get the ball.
One of those situations where he tried to throw the ball back off that pick, right? I think that might have been was that Kyle Girard he was trying to throw it back to, but it was low.
5.5 left here in the fourth quarter. Are they offside?
Definitely not offsides. Definitely not offsides.
Heard some chatter from the stands.
Tell you what, tense atmosphere. It's a little tense atmosphere right here.
It's tense, I think, everywhere but the booth. We're good. We enjoy this one.
Nah, this is great stuff right here.
Yes.
Great kids, great coaches, great atmosphere. Awesome stuff.
Riley. Taking a whack there was Mulholland. You expect him to get his pound of flesh here. Riley now creates some separation. Feeds it to X.
Great patience by Riley right there. Like he kind of beats it.
Calabretta. M makes the save, and now the Indians look to try to turn it. It's loose. Flags fly. Let's see this call.
Gonna have a push, it looks like. A little bit of conferring going on.
Yeah, you can see the call there, the signal of a 30-second push.
The Cold Spring Harbor staff are kind of saying he turned, and the Manhasset faithful and coach are saying that's a good call. So it's beauty in the eye of the beholder.
For the Indians, their fourth man-up opportunity. They are 1 for 3. And you'd make the argument here, as we've got 4:30 left in this fourth quarter, their biggest to date. There's Perfetto. He's got 3.
He's had the hot hand.
Gets it back. Panzik fakes down low, back out to Peterson.
Trying to get an advantage on that side of the field with the four-man cycle going with the righty and the lefty on the other side.
Terenzi. One more. Will the save. Denying Riley. Now Riley. An aggressive ride. Back to Will. Look at this clear. We should have the clear of the game. Intercepts the pass.
It might have been a bit, we had numbers right there, but it's one of those situations where maybe you don't need another goal, you just need the ball, right?
And now this opens up the door for Manhasset when you could have, taken some time out off the clock. Terenzi spins. He's only got an assist to this point. Terenzi. Slide comes, great recognition, gets to Peterson. Up top to Connor. He's got 1 and 1 in the day. And a big goal by Riley. His third.
Kind of starts off with a Terenzi dodge, a pass over to Connor gets the ball, and dodges the middle, and is able to see through the defense and get to Riley on the lefty bottom for the finish.
You see it again, Connor with the assist. There he is, dodging. There's a feed, and nice dump over shot there for Riley, his third. And here we go. 1 goal game.
Good offense there by Manhasset. Coach McCullough came off the adjacent, as they sometimes do, and they couldn't get the rotation in fast enough.
Terenzi, can he chase it down? He does, and now Cromwell does get that timeout. Another 1 goal game. Cold Spring Harbor with the lead. And that's the thing, too, with Terenzi, right? Maybe offensively they're taking things away from him, but that's the second time off the wing he's gotten a big ground ball off a faceoff.
Sure. You're a midfielder. What everybody forgets is everybody wants to talk about offense. A midfielder plays both ends of the field, right? You got to play offense. You got to play defense. You got to pick up ground balls. In the school where he's going to at University of Virginia, well, Coach Tiffany, they work on picking up ground balls and playing both ends of the field as a midfielder. So it's a pretty important part of the game, and he's come up with some huge ones here today. And what's going to have to happen now, Manhasset has to clear the ball, and they're going to have, obviously we're 3:03 to go in the game here. So, one of the things the Cold Spring Harbor guys have to be cognizant of in the huddle is no matter what happens, you haven't lost the game, right? You're up by 1. If they score and tie it, you just got to keep playing and see what happens over the next 3:03. But the important part here is just getting the ball cleared. I've seen many situations where you're in a huddle and you're talking about, all right, we're going to clear, and then we're going to run, and then you find ways not to get it cleared. So I think Coach Cromwell's making sure, he's pointing right now, making sure that ball's getting cleared correctly first and they're on sides.
These are 2 programs that not only do they know each other, but they are no strangers to success either. You look at combined Nassau County titles, how about 30? How about 8 combined state titles, 4 apiece, and 18 Long Island championships, 14 of those to Manhasset.
Thing you want to do here if you're Cold Spring Harbor, you got to be a little careful you don't ride in a wave that gives them a number somewhere.
It goes back to M. Finds Collins. M right back to Collins across midfield. Rowan Collins, good wheels. Good look in front too. Riley, though, into the teeth of the D, had it stripped by Theo Torres as timeout is called by Cold Spring Harbor.
Coach Bond's right on top of that one. He wasn't going to let that one get away from him.
There's a good look at Torres. Kind of a guy, too, in this whole defensive structure that maybe sometimes goes not unnoticed, right? But obviously we talk so much about Phelan and Pisano, but Torres out of that long stick midi roll with Caden O'Connor as well, the junior. He started as a sophomore, and by the way, that's a transfer from Manhasset. So he's a guy who's all over this game.
Knows everybody in the game, knows both sides.
Yeah.
But how about what just went on, Dylan, in the last like minute and a half, right? Cold Spring Harbor gets a stop on man down. They go to clear it. Then it ends up being a turnover, goes back to Manhasset. And Manhasset's able to score on the face-off. Manhasset calls timeout. They go to clear it, and they get a situation where they turn it over off the clear. And now Cold Spring Harbor calls timeout, and they have to clear it. So, all the little specialty parts of the game come into play in these one-goal games. Clearing, riding, stick work, all those things. And getting it cleared is going to be a huge part of it. They don't have to keep it in yet. They have 41 seconds for it's got to be kept in.
I was going to say, look, this is a non-league game, right? But how important are these next 241 from Manhasset? Because, again, you're coming off of an emotional, tough loss to Garden City, right, in the Woodstick, and you've got a Chaminade team that's much improved as the season's gone on. Another high-profile rivalry type of game coming up on Saturday. You can't go into that one with back-to-back losses.
Sure, it's a hard stretch for Manhasset, and realistically, the Garden City game, even though I know it's the Woodstock Classic, and then people are going to want to, not be happy with me, but it means a lot, yes, but in some ways it doesn't mean anything in a way, in some ways.
I hear what you're saying, but it means everything.
I know that, and I'm saying that with a half a grain of salt,
Here's Will. Will, smart play there because the backup was there, and on the shot, Manhasset maintains possession. Now, Cromwell is arguing perhaps that it was a pass. Either way, Cold Spring Harbor with the ball. There's Spielberger. Lapina in on him.
Going to have to keep it in soon. So when you have to, now what's going to happen is on the 2 minutes still, and this is where the strategy comes in.
Yep.
Once you get it in, you're going to have to keep it in. So you have to go down the alley. And this is game, 12 for both these teams, 11, 12, and everyone knows how to do this.
And here it is.
He went in a tough spot.
Spielberger.
Lapina's tough on the defense. He's a hard guy to deal with.
Yeah, trying to force him out. Loose ball picked up by Manhasset. Ground ball by LaMarca. And here come the Indians down by 1. Look at this move by Peterson to the cage.
Peterson was going for it full speed right there. I think Will got just a piece of it.
They call him Swill. Spencer Will, as there's a Manhasset player down behind the net. And we said at the very beginning, Mike, and I think it might be just some cramping for Peterson, and you could certainly understand that with the miles that he's logged on those legs today. But Spencer Will, man, a 64% save percentage. And Mike, you work with goalies all the time. And that's in the sport of lacrosse. That's some awesome numbers, right? When you could save 64% of the shots that have come at you. He's made 82 saves on the year. He's going to play his collegiate lacrosse at Amherst.
Sure, he's very good. One of the top keepers in Nassau County, and had a great season so far this year. And once you get over 60% nowadays, especially on a team like Cold Spring Harbor, where you're not going to see a volume of shots to get, you'll get some easy saves here and there, but you'll be judiciously shot a little bit by opposing teams. Anything over 60 is really, really good numbers.
All right. We restart. Manhasset trying to tie this game. Perfetto with 3. Chased. Perfetto fires, and Will makes the save.
A little high pick there, and they got the switch, and Perfetto had the short stick and was able to kind of get to the goal, and a great save by Will right there.
He has been terrific here today.
Both teams have one timeout left. Interesting to see if it start getting down under a minute, if Coach Cromwell will take that timeout to get more organized, or we just play through it here.
And we're there now, under a minute left. Panzik. Here we go. Takes a slash by Torres. Switch things. Terenzi. Locked up. Loose ball. Picked up by Cold Spring Harbor. Pisano, I think, got the cause turnover, and Bond gets the timeout.
Yep, Coach Bond didn't want to waste any time and get that ball taken away or anything. Calls timeout. Now the difficult piece is you have to clear it, and you have no timeouts left. So, the Federation rules, you can call timeout anywhere on the field. Unlike the NCAA rules, you can only call them on the offensive half and the offensive box. So it's a little different. And so now the clearing will be of paramount importance here, And the biggest thing is, Dylan, I think, is no matter what formation they're going to come out in, however Manhasset rides it, Cold Spring Harbor can't lose the ball on their half of the field. You have to lose it as far from your goal as possible. Time is on your side. Your upper goal is 37.5 seconds left. So you have to lose it down on the offensive end and make them have to clear it and get in and play defense.
Cold Spring Harbor with a 1-goal lead in the latest of what's been many epic 1-goal games. We've got a great slate of games coming up for you as well on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We'll show you those in a moment. Here we go. Hills West and Huntington tomorrow afternoon. The Dalers and the Braves. Always fun when those Nassau Class A teams do battle. And the biggest one of the weekend, Chaminade and Manhasset. It is Reeves Rock, the 13th edition of Reeves Rock between Chaminade and Manhasset.
Dylan, something people don't talk about too much in Nassau County. We're pretty proud of Nassau County High School lacrosse. We've had a state champion from one of our classifications dating all the way back to, I believe, 2009 in Nassau County. And this is why we get state champions built out of Nassau County, is because this is essentially a game that means a lot and doesn't mean a lot. But look at this competition. And this gets you ready for the end of the year. Right here. These situations get you ready.
Off the timeout. Here we go. Spencer Will. He's not only made saves today, Mike, but he's been spectacular in the clearing game. Maybe now the biggest clear of all. Racing up is Phelan. Excuse me, now it's Pisano, and they've got to keep it in.
Tough place to keep it in there from the top.
And again, no timeouts, as Mike mentioned earlier. They just fling it down low. Here's Jaraputo.
That's a really good scoop off a ground ball like that.
And how about this? Cold Spring Harbor goes to Garden City. They beat the Trojans, and they come to Ed Walsh Field, and they beat the Indians as well. First time since 2018, the opening game of that season, that they win. We'll take a quick break, and we'll get to you the RP3 player of the game, as well as the breakout goaltending save of the game right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
The best action shots and the best angles look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. The best action shots and the best angles look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Manhasset High School. And in case you didn't think Cold Spring Harbor was real this year, right? they had that signature win and maybe signature win part 2 as they defeat Manhasset here 8-7. What a performance by the Seahawks. And again, they snap Manhasset's 3-game winning streak in this annual showdown of rivals, and a massive performance all around by Cold Spring Harbor.
Sure. I mean, nip and tuck the whole way. Cold Spring Harbor got out to a big lead, and Manhasset, I think, shook off the cobwebs a little bit from Saturday at halftime and started really playing and pressed it really hard. And, of course, you have C.J. Riley with that great goal, the 8th goal, right? I think he has it with him to be the game winner. But, you know, Spencer Will in the cage was a rock in the cage, making a bunch of saves. And it isn't always how many, it's when they occur and how they happen. And great job by him in the goal tonight for Cold Spring Harbor.
So we'll have Spencer Will, who will kind of take all the glory here tonight for the Seahawks. We'll have the breakout goaltending group save of the game, as well as the RP3 player of the game as well. That sound you hear, we'll bring him in now as well, the moving images. It's Spencer Will and Spencer, Dylan Butler, Mike Hungerford here. What a performance from you. And listen, man, congratulations. What a game. You knew how difficult this attack was, and it seemed like you were dialed in from the very beginning.
Yeah. You know, we always know when we come out and play our game, play fast, and really get on them early. We know we can play with anyone. So that was our game plan. We knew that it doesn't matter how many commits they have, doesn't matter how big a team they are, that we can come out and beat them, and that's what we did tonight.
Spencer, you know, when you come into this game as a goalie and you have to face this kind of an offense, you know, what's your thought process mentally during the game? I mean, like, you know, as a game going, what's your thought process playing through this kind of game?
Honestly, there is no thought process. You know, a game is a game, and a save is a save. So if they're shooting, I got to save it, and it doesn't matter who's it coming from. So that's my mentality. Always got to save the ball.
Spencer, you made some great saves, and in a moment or two we'll show those. But I thought maybe, I don't know if it's underappreciated, but I was certainly appreciated by us, and I'm sure by your team as well. Your clearing game was unbelievable, man. You were hitting those long bombs, whether it was Riley or whoever else. I mean, is that a part of your game that you think you really worked on and almost perfected here now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Whenever I always go out to the field with my brother, you know, we always work on that. It's a, you know, serious part of the game, and, you know, I really like to get those dialed. And tonight, you know, I was hitting those, so very excited.
Well, they call you Swill, and I got listen, man. If Garden City was your signature win, I'm not sure what this is, but I think people, if they're not taking Cold Spring Harbor seriously, I think now's about the time.
Oh yeah. They gotta watch out.
So we'll take Spencer. Congratulations, our RP3 player of the game. If you want to stick around too, we'll have the breakout goaltending group save of the game, and guess what, Spencer? You've made that one as well.
Awesome.
You're taking all the trophies here tonight.
2 for 2 tonight, Spencer. There you go.
All right, Mike.
Thank you very much.
All right, Spencer. Mike, you want to take us through here? This one of many great saves here by Spencer Will. And
yeah, you see here, you know, the offensive, you know, Manhasset moving the ball here and see him spinning back and getting underneath and just hanging in there with it, you know, like bunch of fakes by I think that was Terenzi, right? Just coming across the goal with a bunch of fakes and keeping his stick up in the right spot and just following and not buying the first fake, right? And eventually making the save, and Awesome just hanging in there and not losing his position.
How hard? Listen, you do a great job with goalies, right? And especially you guys at I mean, you kind of wear 2 hats. You're at Farmingdale, but also with breakout goaltending group, and the job that you guys do training goalies is second to none. That's really hard, right? Because that's not just one fake. That's a few fakes by a really high-end guy who can score the ball. What's the key there for Will?
Just I think the key is being relaxed all the time, right? Being able to you can't grip everything too tight because you're going to have a whole bunch of problems. So just staying loose and just mirroring and just punching to the ball. And the guys, us at over, breakout goaltending group, 52 weeks a year, comprehensive goalie training. You know, Tim O'Meara, Brian Soper, the OTB coach, and Tim O'Meara, the director from Eagle Academy. Great job as a group with us with kids. And come on and join the fun.
He's the only breakout goaltending group guy that we haven't got on yet as a guy. So Tim,
he's let us know that too. So we're gonna have to do something. So
he's on the clock.
Give Ben a call.
There you go. Great game here. Congratulations again to Cold Spring Harbor, an 8-7 win. They improved to 11-1 on the season. Manhasset falls to 8-3. I want to thank everyone here, our crew at Varsity Media, Angela Caezo, Ron Pierre, giving you all the moving images. Executive producer Ben Turchin, Brian Butler doing a great job as well. For my broadcast partner, Mike Hungerford, Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us here from Manhasset High School, and we'll see you next time on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.